My official review for S-Town is this. I think they did a lot of things really well. I also think it deserves criticism. Finished binge listening to S-Town today. Started it a couple days ago, listened to the first 2 episodes, and then listened to the rest today. And yeah, it's kind of getting a lot of play in the press today, as if people are just catching wind of it. But several friends and I had listened to the trailer the day it came out. If you're not familiar, S-Town is a podcast from the team that did Serial. If you're not familiar with Serial, Serial is one of the most popular podcasts. Serial transcended the podcasting genre and sort of went viral on its own and became a sensation. Serial Season 2 was not nearly the success that Season 1 was, but still wildly interesting. I really enjoyed both. I do really want to go back and listen to Season 2 again, because I, like others, did not probably give it the attention that it deserves. But S-Town, a podcast from the crew that did that, is another amazing podcast. I really enjoyed it overall, but I do want to be a little critical of it for a couple reasons. One, it's getting a lot of love today, and I think it deserves a little bit of criticism. And then also, just in general, you should listen to it, I guess, is the main thing I should let you know. But yeah, so one bit of criticism I want to give to S-Town before we start this review, where I'm going to tell you that it's great and you should listen to it. When the trailer for S-Town came out, it was very clearly aimed at the Serial audience. The story to S-Town was presented as a murder mystery. It was presented in a way that made it seem like it reflected Serial very closely. Even the name S-Town in the trailer, with very little reference to what S-Town actually means. It's Shit-Town, spoiler alert. With very little reference, just up front. S-Town could even be interpreted to mean Serial Town or something like that. It's just a minor complaint. The marketing for the show was wrong. I think the show is made better if you go into it knowing what to expect. If you're expecting a wild, unraveling murder mystery, you're going to get a little bit of that, but you're not going to get nearly as much of it as you think you are. So don't get your hopes up. Spoiler alert, I guess. But what you are going to get is some really amazing storytelling. I found the story to be just, I got really wrapped up in it. I needed to know what happened. I will say that I listened to episode 1 and 2 together, and then realized that sort of my expectations were not exactly what the show was going to be. So I could pause a little bit, and then I went back and listened to the rest all in one basic sitting. But official review from me on S-Town is this. Amazing storytelling, really well edited. This team knows how to make podcasts, so obviously it's going to be easy to digest, easy to listen to. It's really well told. The characters, so to speak, the people that are involved in the story are what make it worth listening to. You go in expecting one thing, you get a second thing out, and the thing that you get out is really an interest in the people and sort of what their life is. There are certain people that I was attracted to in the story overall and that I want to know more about. There are elements of the story that I want to know more about that, it's just life stuff, things that happen in life where people get to be a certain way. You tell a story a certain way, and, things are going to get left out. You're obviously always going to want more. If you haven't listened to the podcast, you can go ahead and turn off now if you're not looking for spoilers, if you're going to listen to it. If you have listened, some thoughts that I have about the way the show was done that I would like to know more about. I do want to know more about Tyler and John B. together. I think there is more to their story. It seems like Tyler has a way of telling stories that either flips roles or exaggerates. I'd love to know if this is the result of the editing of the show or if this is how he actually is. If he's actually sort of telling lies or, changing stories to make him look better. The show does a great job of painting John in a particular light. The thing that comes up towards the end is that maybe the reason for his troubles has a lot to do with Tyler and their friendship. I do wonder if maybe John wanted more from their relationship and couldn't get it, and so that's what sort of drove him down his rabbit hole, if you will, if you want the Mad Hatter references to continue. I do think John was very sick. Even before the revelation that he probably was sick that's made in the show, I was beginning to think that he is probably sick in some way. There were he seemed to exhibit some symptoms for some issues that, although it wasn't clear, they do a good job of hinting at it throughout the show, and when you put the pieces together on the Mercury thing, it does seem pretty clear. The other thing I'm really interested in is why they pushed the gold so much. Look, I'm not stupid when it comes to media. Obviously, I'm sitting here, I'm making a piece of content about another piece of content that I will make up a title for that will be designed to get people to watch this video and react to it. That's what making content is. That's what making art is. That's what making music is. That's what all of those things are. And I know that making a podcast is exactly the same, especially one of these storytelling podcasts like S-Town is. They really, really drive this point about this gold home. Now, they could do it for a couple reasons. The obvious being that people want to know about gold. Like, it is an interesting part of the story. If this guy actually had a bunch of gold and was completely debanked like he claims to have been, if he has a bunch of gold laying around that other people knew about, it obviously makes for an amazing piece of the story. And it creates a treasure hunt. You want to know if that gold is there, if somebody found it, you want to know where it is. They do the little piece where Tyler tells him to shut off the recorder, and it's following all this information about, how he knew where to find it, and, all these little pieces about their relationship. So, maybe he found it. Maybe there was gold and he found it. We obviously don't know what was said when the recorders were off. Maybe Tyler knew that he got rid of it. Maybe he knew that he was broke. But at the end of the day, they want you to think that someone got that gold. They also want to use the gold to keep you coming back to listen to the show. So it's kind of trying to be two things at once. My official review for S-Town is this. I give it an A, man. It was a great listen. I really liked listening to it. I think they did a lot of things really well. I also think it deserves criticism. The things they did well is the storytelling and the editing. This is potentially the best podcasters around right now. I'm partial to the Gimlet Media people. You may be partial to others as well. I mean, Serial's the gold standard for podcasts. S-Town is made in the way that Serial was made by the people that made Serial. Pretty obvious that it's going to be gold, so I give it an A. I will say that I think they marketed it sort of clickbaity, which I understand. I'm making a YouTube video. I'm going to have to do that myself to some degree. And then I think that the other thing they did really well is that they released it all on one day. If it would have been 7 weeks to get to that story, I think that I would have been upset about it. You can get through it quickly, you can enjoy the ride, and you can be done. It can be over. I don't think we're going to see an S-Town Season 2. I hope we don't. I would love to see more just one-off stories like that. Overall, I think the storytelling was great. The criticisms it deserve are the way they feature certain things, the gold, for instance, and also then the marketing and how they wanted you to think the show was going to be when it's actually a very different show. That feeling when you're following another leaf. It's crazy. It's just like mine. I don't know what to do. Oh, this has a camera. Look at that. In terms of other interesting things, I've been getting over being sick. Maybe you can hear it in my voice. Last night was WrestleMania. I'm a big pro wrestling fan. You might not know that about me. I guess I could do a video about that. Not today. WrestleMania was great. We went last year. We had a great time, even though the wrestling part wasn't that super great. This year's WrestleMania was pretty great. More on that later, I guess. I also started watching Rogue One again. Not sure that I've shared my Rogue One theory on YouTube, but basically Rogue One makes a really good first impression, but is pretty devoid of substance or need, save for filling one hole in the Star Wars universe. Started watching that again, was kind of bored, so hopefully not being sick and maybe being able to focus on some other stuff will make me enjoy that more. That's really it. Hope you guys are well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.